Welcome, everyone, to another episode, a come in clutch with Carlos Patino episode of the Buddycast. We somehow misplaced most of our equipment.
It was my fault.
It's in Riverside somewhere. I'm not going to point or name any names, but it's in Riverside somewhere. So Carlos Patino has swooped in with his magical ability. That's a big stiz.
I know, right? It's
Jesus
the 1 gram,
dude.
son.
Yeah, every time I see the 1 gram, I'm like, is that necessary?
Yes, it is, because they run out pretty quick, dude.
Maybe you're hitting it too much. You don't have to be high all day.
Yes, I do. Especially, like, where I work, I do. You know what I noticed today? Like, I was sitting at my desk, because I work at that IT department.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how the fuck am I the smartest person in this entire place? Like, if anything goes down or anything goes wrong, they come and find me. And I'm like, this is not smart, you guys. If I'm the smartest person in the entire place at one point, like, that's not smart.
So your job is troubleshooting?
Basically, yeah.
So what is the most common, like, really? You brought me out here again for this? Didn't I tell you how to fix this last time? Is there one?
There's one thing where I'm just like, are you serious? Like, do I really need to be fixing this shit right now? Is when, because the girls in the office have
of course it's the girls in the office.
Well, actually there's guys too, but if you work
but
in
it is the girls.
Yeah, even if you're a guy that works in the office, you're a girl to me. All right, no, I'm just kidding. They have wireless keyboards, so their batteries run out.
Oh.
So they're always like, oh, my keyboard doesn't work. I don't know
It's
what
not
I did.
connecting.
They was like, I don't know what I did. I was like, maybe it's because they're wireless and they need batteries and they're the cheap Staples keyboards.
Wow. So you guys got like 10 for $1.
Basically. I don't know.
Okay, as comedians, Carlos Patino and Aaron Chase, what do you guys prefer on stage, wired or wireless? Also, follow up to that question, standing or sitting during performance? Personal preference.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I can answer the sitting thing immediately, and that is sitting. I really like sitting.
What do you feel you like sitting?
Because I have too much manic energy, and when I stand up...
Do you feel like you're pacing?
No, I can control it now, but there is... I guess the vibe of what I'm trying to do feels better when I'm sitting. It feels more personable. So I think it's sitting all the way. And then what was the other question?
Wireless or wired mic?
You guys kept talking about how I should use the Britney Spears mic for some reason. And I still don't fully grasp as to why, because I haven't watched myself do it without a mic at all. But I guess wired, because I'm used to it.
I haven't had too much experience with wireless mics, but when those seem to have troubles all the time. You know, like the battery runs out, you get out of range, or whatever like
someone else's mic is on your frequency.
Oh, never had that shit happen before. Has that happened with you?
That's happened when Aaron used to busk on the street.
Oh, yeah.
Someone nearby would pick up his feed. I don't remember who it was, but they were like, oh, yeah, that's what's going on? Like,
what kind of microphone was this?
It was just a wireless mic. He had just a wireless transmitter thing hooked up to the car battery.
Like, what brand was it? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know.
It probably wasn't like a good one then.
Radio
No,
Shack.
it was terrible.
If it was Radio Shack, for sure that'll happen.
Yeah.
No, like the only time that I've really had experience doing stand up with a wireless mic was at the Maverick. And it was not a good experience. It's like, here comes my punchline, and you know, like you wouldn't hear
it
shit.
Goes out, yeah.
It goes out, and then...
that's not something you should have to think about. You shouldn't be like, I got to get this out while it's still working.
Yeah.
And yourself, George, sitting or standing?
Wired and standing, because I think that's the base flavor of stand-up. Like, that's where you're going to have to do it all the time.
For me, definitely standing as well. Because I'm short, so like when I climb onto the stool... It's a little awkward, and then I'm fat too, so it's just like, I don't know.
Picturing Jack the Beanstalk, you have to climb up the stool.
I think
it's so settled.
I think as fat people, we should be standing. Like, we shouldn't be allowed to sit, other than like Big J Okerson, you know? He's always sitting.
Is he? Oh, yeah, he does sit a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like sitting would cause a problem. Like, if you got... How do I preface this, actually? So I think you should practice the way you perform. Mm-hmm. So, like, if basketball, you should play like you're playing a game every time, so that when you have to perform, you can perform. And I think sitting can become an issue if you like, let's say you're doing a theater that seats 10,000 people and you have a giant stage and you're just sitting there. You're not going to fill that space.
Oh,
you know?
I recently saw a video of Mark Maron where it's on YouTube. It's his airplane story. Shit's fucking hilarious, first of all. And he's sitting, but that's a Mark Maron thing. You know, like I think it just depends on who you are.
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah, because it's like Mark Maron's a big sitting down guy, and I saw him stand up. And I was like, it's not Mark Maron, but I mean, he still gets his point across. But it's definitely like it kind of throws you off a little bit.
Yeah, Bill Cosby and Sadiq Ali, or Ali Sadiq. Those guys are sitters too, and there is something calm about it. There's something like almost fatherly when you see them sit. Like
Bill Cosby's the uncle who just sits down and like, let me tell you, the fuck.
You know what?
He raped somebody.
You know what? When it comes to talking about his comedy, I just try to separate the two at this point. Like, I feel like when you talk about Bill Cosby at this point about his comedy,
do you think Bill Cosby, when he like sleeps a woman, I don't know what else to put it, when he
sleeps her, when he just starches her, he gets her right on the chin.
I don't think he does it anymore, but because he's in jail. Isn't he in jail? Yeah, so he can't do it anymore. But when he did it, like, do you think he like sleeps them and then he puts them on top of him?
I'm pretty sure.
He's a sick guy. You know, I don't know.
That's too much work for him.
I don't think it was strong enough.
He probably hired the right people who keep secrets.
Just roll her on her back.
That guy's, I don't know, man. What do you guys think of that? Do you think it's legit? Do you think he
did it? Yeah. I do think it was a regular thing back then.
Do you think he knew it was wrong though?
Yes.
Because if he did it to 60 women, how do you or 60 plus women, or how do you?
I think there's a moral compass inside that tells you it's wrong, but you get away with it so much that you think it's the rules don't apply.
What is the weirdest things that you guys are into that you're like, I should not be into this shit?
Incest. I think.
Really?
That was supposed to be my thing. God damn it.
Yeah.
No. As far as the Cosby thing, I do think he realized it was wrong, but I think at the time they didn't understand how wrong it was.
Yeah. Women weren't respected yet, so it wasn't even a conception of an idea.
Because I have heard that argument before. I mean, crazy enough that someone's even defending rape. Yeah. You know,
I don't think I'm defending it. I'm explaining it though.
Right.
Contextually, it wasn't as bad because it was not as frowned upon. Not acceptable, but it was definitely less frowned upon.
I think like if you how can I put this? Like, if you had to justify how he was thinking, that would be one way of saying, like, oh, that's why he thinks that way.
Yeah.
Because back in the day,
what you did. It was. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? No. There's a scene, and it's not going to spoil anything. I don't think anybody matters. But
he said he doesn't think anybody matters.
Same shit. Who
Weird
cares?
slip, dude.
No, he probably meant it.
I am the Don. I'll bow. But no. But there's a scene where Leonardo DiCaprio's character is crying, and Brad Pitt's character goes up to him and is like, "Hey, don't cry in front of the Mexicans." And then they just keep going, like they don't even address it. And it's like because that's the time period. It's the 70s. That's just kind of how they did things. So not to say it's okay, but that's
that Quentin Tarantino.
Yes,
movie?
it's fantastic.
Okay.
Fucking phenomenal.
I gotta watch it. I'm not necessarily a big fan of Tarantino's. Dude, I like to just get to the point. I don't like to think about shit, man. I don't like that I see the middle first and then like the ending next and then the beginning last, like out of order and out of place. Like Pulp Fiction is like that.
Are you a cinephile?
I don't know what that.
A lover of film.
I wouldn't say a lover of film, but I do like movies. I'm a movie buff.
If after a certain point,
movie fat, but whatever.
Movie fluff.
That's better.
After you watch enough movies, you can see formulas and patterns.
No, like for example, when I had you on my podcast, and you mentioned Dutch angles, I was like, "What?" I've never even noticed that, you know. But it makes sense. But at the same time, I was just like,
it's supposed to be subtle.
Yeah, never thought of it, you know.
But after you watch enough film and you see those patterns and those tricks, watching Tarantino is awesome because he's able to actually surprise you. I get surprised when I watch his movies. I never know what's going to happen. Whereas when I watch just a regular film or a movie or whatever, for the most part, I'm like, okay, well, you're doing this lighting with this sound, and this actor's in this position, so you're going to do this.
You get deep into it then.
Yeah, well, it's like when you
deep enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you watch comedy, you can. I assume at this point you can be like, oh, I see what you're doing.
Oh yeah. I could be like, oh,
He
I
can't. He's only a year in. What are you talking about?
I don't know that much, but I can definitely be like, oh, that's a callback. You know, stuff like that. But there's still a lot that I got to learn, dude. Honestly, like I just started a year in. I was just like, oh my god, like I should not be.
When did you make a year?
October 29th.
Nice.
Yeah, October 29th.
Just made a year.
Yeah.
Wow. What is the thing you're focusing on most right now?
Dude, finding funny in the shit that I'm writing. Like finding out what everyone else is going to think is funny. So the way I'll write is I'll write some shit down and I'll underline what I think is funny. And then I'll take it on stage and make sure that I say what I underlined. And if it's not funny, then I don't underline it anymore.
Can you explain what you mean by you underline the part that's funny? What do you
on a computer?
I mean, like what?
I also italicize.
What makes it? My thought process is very clinical, so I'm trying to understand
what makes. All right, so what I underline basically makes me laugh, and I'm like, all right, this shit should make other people laugh, you know. And then I try to find out how to get to the underlined areas. So say if it was funny. So like say if I wrote a joke and there's a punchline that's I try it on stage and the punchline works. I'm like, all right, how do I get to that underlined moment quicker?
So you write and you write and you write until you hit do you say something that makes you laugh? Mm-hmm. And that's whatever that is, you perceive it as the punchline.
Yeah.
Then you say it on stage and then you see if it works.
Yeah.
What about the setup? Do you think about that at all?
Sometimes. A lot of the times, gosh, I gotta fucking think about this shit. I still haven't I'm still getting into like the whole punchline shit. Where it's like that has to be the that has to be the like surprise part. I just learned that like when I came back from my hiatus.
Really?
Yeah. Because at first I was just like, I'm gonna be the story guy. You know, I love Tom Segura, so I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna tell stories. But it turns out nobody gives a shit about your stories. Like
if you don't have jokes,
you haven't. Yeah, you haven't. I haven't experienced enough to be like, you know, this story's funny. And then even so, like you have to break down what's funny to people so that they laugh at certain points. Because you can't just tell a story and be like, hey, the ending of this story's funny. It's like, no.
Do you think if you thought more about the setup, like what is setting up this thing, that would
I'd
help?
be way funnier. If I thought of it from the beginning, fuck yeah. I'd be way funnier and I'd be booked more often.
I mean, you did think about it from the beginning. You're a year in, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's the beginning. I'm still in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we forget, because we go on stage every day, we forget that this is a decade endeavor.
Yeah.
You know, this is, you're 10, you can't really clock in until you've clocked in 10 years.
I forgot who I was telling, but like, because I used to play the drums, and I was to the point where I almost was able to get paid to do that. I was that close. So I played the drums for like about 19 years. Mm-hmm. You know, it took me 19 years to get to the area where I could almost get paid for it.
I assume you were also passionate about it, that you loved playing the drums.
Right.
Okay.
I loved playing the drums. I hated dealing with bands. You know, that's what's got me into not wanting to play music as for a living.
Just dealing with other bands and personalities.
Because like I said, like I was getting to the point where I was like, all right, if I join this band, I'm closer to making money. Like I could start being like, all right, I know how to play with a click. I know how to do this, and that. I know how to record and all that bullshit. I have my own equipment, and it's like professional grade equipment. Like I could start hitting up people who need a drummer and start auditioning, and start getting paid somewhat to do, to play music. But that took me 18 years to get to that level where I can almost go into,
Could you have done it sooner if you were more confident, or were you like, no, I'm the shit?
Yes. I definitely lacked in confidence and also a lot of technique, because I was self-taught. So I got skipped
easy drumline.
Yeah, I got skipped.
Boom, 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 boom.
I love that movie, by the way.
We went in hard on it, me and Will, when we were talking about it, drumline, and how it's a piece of shit because he was taking it from a drummer's perspective.
Because he was taking it as a drummer's perspective?
Yeah, well, because he's a drummer, and he was telling me,
Is he?
like, he was telling me how it's all bullshit, most of that story. Like, you don't get to that level or being able to play an audition piece without being able to read music.
Yeah.
So,
I mean...
I was like, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, I did. Like, I don't read music at all. But, like, I'll tell you this, like, you can, but reading music is definitely taking you to the next level.
Yeah. Well, that's what Will was saying, is, like, you can get by playing by ear, but, like, if you're getting to the point where you're, like, auditioning for, like, a D1 band line drum, and they're making you adjust your cadences and switch your BPMs mid-set, like...
Yeah, but when you pay attention to those things, the movie's not fun anymore.
No, it still is. Because even, I was telling him, even when I was watching it, it felt like bullshit.
Yeah.
The setup felt like, oh, you can't read music, then you probably don't fucking belong there, dude.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm not gonna lie, because I saw that movie when I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
And me and my brother were at the movies watching other movies, and then we both snuck into that movie. And then when I watched it, I was like, this is fucking badass.
It is a good movie. It's a great story. Yeah. What's better as a story that actually fits more and is more appropriate for, in my opinion, is Stomp the Yard. Stomp the Yard is Drumline meets You Got Served, but its ability to deal with like HBCs and the Greek system and colleges in general, it does it much better than Drumline's fucking Atlanta A&T.
This is the part that Jake Calderon is gonna have such a boner over, because he does marching band and shit.
I know,
like
I know. He's I wanted to talk to him about like Crown and stuff, but we were never in the same place.
One movie that I really like, that it's about drumming, or it's about playing and like dealing with like auditioning and shit like that. That it was completely bullshit the way, because sometimes like I heard a cymbal, he didn't hit a cymbal, you know, like is Whiplash. It's really good though.
Whiplash.
It's
fantastic film.
Yeah,
is it?
It's
I've
really
heard about
good.
that. I don't know.
It's with Miles Teller and what's his name, J.K. Simmons.
Right. Okay. I saw gifs of that on like on Facebook and shit.
He slaps the song. Yeah. Never mind.
I've
seen that. And I was like, damn, dude, this is intense. I bet he's great at the drums though.
Yeah. I'll let you borrow the movie. It's intense.
Cool. No, I actually think I have it downloaded. Someone told me to download it. But
were you rushing or were you dragging?
Oh my gosh, that scene, I was just like, oh my god, and he still wants to do it.
Well, you know what's crazy though? If we were in that same situation, but the equivalent of comedy, I'd keep going.
Yeah.
I'd totally keep going.
Yeah, if Tom Segura slapped the shit out of me and was like, was that funny or was it not? I don't know.
Do you guys have like a movie, like an inspirational scene that just kind of cranks your engine a little extra, that more...
And stand-up comedy specials don't count? We're talking
about
movies?
Like a movie scene that you think of, you're like, damn, dude, that's like something that fires you up so much, you take that fire to comedy, but it's not comedy related.
No.
You don't have a single...
Don't have that, no. Not that I can think of, no.
Creed?
Dude,
the whole movie of Creed.
It's badass. I love it.
Yeah, there's something about it that's like...
I want to see if I can...
not perfect, but just so inspiring. So like...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when Creed was announced, everyone was like, really? Mm-hmm. Right?
Including myself. I was very concerned.
I wasn't. I was very excited.
I was concerned about it. I was like, this is going to be... Guys...
Why were you excited?
Because I knew I was going to watch it regardless, so why am I going to be like, oh, I'm not going to watch this shit. Like Hobbs and Shaw, I would never watch that shit.
Really?
No. When I watched it too, I was just like, don't get excited over it because you're not going to watch that shit. Like I told myself to.
I'm not going to watch it in theaters, but I'll download the shit out of it.
No, I'm not going to.
And let it play while I'm cleaning the house.
Like if I go to a party and they're playing that movie, that's the only scenario where I'm going to watch it. But even then, I'm going to be like, we're at a party and we're watching a movie? I'm kind of out of here. That's the type of shit that Christians would do.
I get mad when people have parties and don't have anything on their giant-ass TV.
Really?
Yeah. Because I like having everyone at like a little kickback, and that includes people that aren't socially comfortable. And when you have something there, give them a reason to stay and just watch. And like they don't have to feel uncomfortable. Plus, I don't think there's a problem if somebody's at a party and they're just on their phone. It's like they don't like anyone here, or they don't want to talk to anyone, or they don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. Leave them the fuck alone. But
that makes sense.
My dad's side of the family especially, they were very like, no video games at the table, talk to everyone when you're there, no this, no that, no eating in the living room. Mind you, since we've graduated, all of those rules have since changed. But when I grew up, I was very like, pay attention to everyone. But now I'm like, why? They're not paying attention to anyone either. We're all here. It's kind of okay. You know, it's one of those, like, if your friend jumps off the bridge, will you do it too? It's like, well, if they have a phone, I guess so.
You know what's crazy? Sometimes, like, podcasting is the only way you can bring people together to, like, talk to each other like this.
That's
Yeah.
why we did them.
In what other scenario are we going to, like, hey, let's go to lunch or something. Let's go hang out and talk. First thing someone's going to say is, don't be gay. All right?
No, I'd call you a faggot.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say it, but whatever. Yeah,
You have a job to lose.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things. Like it's a goal. Like the three of us came here and it's like we're gonna make a podcast. So there is like we have to have conversation.
we have to have a reason to be with each other.
Yeah,
you know?
kind of. Well, and that's kind of why I don't like parties in general either, though, because like you're showing up, but why? You know, you're going to see a bunch of people that you don't really know and you're not really going to talk to, nor will you remember them afterwards. It's like, I'd rather go to my friend's house where there's 5 people than a house party where there's 30.
Have you guys ever... Oh,
sorry, no, I half disagree with you. But that's just my personality. I like going to parties because I like seeing...
Yeah.
I like seeing and meeting new people and seeing how much I can upset or get... or like...
You want to be the asshole at the party?
No. I like to rabble rouse. I like to stir the pot. It's fun. It's fun when you... Like, have you ever gone to... I'm sure you have not done this. Just realized. But I would go to parties and, like, in college... And I would see if I could make someone talk about like something that they're really passionate about that is kind of controversial. And then somebody would inevitably hear the conversation and jump in. And then it would be fun watching everybody get in a circle and see them kind of debate a thing. And then I can hang back and watch it. I'm Dr. Evil. So, no, it was just like, it's just fun. It's just entertaining.
Have you ever walked into a just started a conversation and walked away?
What do you mean?
Like, have you ever been like, yeah, so like women aren't as strong as men, and then you just walk away, and then you just see the fucking chaos unfold in front of you?
I don't see the problem with the word fag and then walking away.
No, I never did anything like that. I think I would stay. This is my problem is that I would stay and continue because it's entertaining.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
You want to know one of my favorite moments in our hanging out history?
Okay,
we were hanging out.
I think it's my favorite too. Go.
We were hanging out outside of the getaway.
Oh no! Are we? Oh shit! Okay.
And there was this one lady that was that came into the circle. She was kind of like imposing a lot, and.
All right, I'm going to stop your story there to say that from her perspective, she wasn't imposing.
No.
That's why it was crazy.
I don't think she meant it, but she kept bringing it up, and then I was like, now you are.
Yeah.
You started off not, but now you for sure are.
Can I also preface, this was when I was...
No, you were an asshole, so you can't preface
No, but I love the way he was an asshole, though.
This was when I was... My apartment was fucking me up. Like,
right.
They were...
You were in a bad mood.
Yeah, I was in a not good mood. I'm pretty sure the water wasn't working. Jonathan had moved out at this point. They had shut down the apartment. I wasn't in a good mood, and I was bitching about it. And she kept jumping in and basically implying that I was blaming her. She kept saying, like... I had an upbringing, and I have nothing to do with your upbringing. I was like, I wasn't fucking talking to you.
Oh, my gosh. My favorite part was, all right, so Aaron asks her, how is your upbringing? And then she goes, bless you. She goes...
that was a bus. Also a bus.
Also another bus. Hey, my joke.
That was your moment, Carlos.
Yeah,
you can retire from comedy
yeah,
now. Now, what are you going to say?
So... You asked, how was your upbringing? And then she goes, I lived in L.A., Claremont, and all Beaumont, but now I live here. And you're like, okay. And then you just, I don't think you said okay. You just turned and then you talked to somebody else. And then Nick Cardona makes the mistake and be like, you didn't even follow up with her.
Yeah, in my head.
And then after that's when everything went shitty.
In my head, I asked her, because I'm also crazy.
It's not the best part. Go ahead.
Oh, we'll get to that part. In my head, I'm also crazy. So sometimes it's hard for me to click like, oh, this person's crazy. Yeah. So I just asked because I was part of it was to see if she was as crazy as I thought she was, and she was.
Yeah. And
the other part was to placate and get like you were asked a question, you got to answer. We're done with you now. Let's move on to something else. Yeah, and then Nick followed it up. So it didn't work.
My favorite part is when she went on and on.
You're really burying the lead in this, and I like it.
It's really funny because, like, okay, so this is what happened. She kept going on, and then Aaron goes, Have you ever heard of cut the fat?
With your jokes, he made her answer the question.
Yeah.
He baited her into answering it. Like, you ever hear about cutting the fat, like in comedy with your jokes? And she went, yeah.
I was like, no.
That's what really sank the punch, and it was a setup. And then he knocked her ass out.
And then he goes, maybe you should try that with conversations, like with just talking. I was like, what?
You should try doing that when you talk. And she stopped talking. It was great.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite points in life
It was
I'm
great,
ever
dude.
sad. I'm like, you should think about cutting the fat.
I love in your everyday conversations. I was like, that's a great way of being. That's a great method of being an asshole. Because you were right, but at the same time, it's like, who tells someone like your structure of speaking is incorrect?
What's hilarious though is that like I was part of that like 2.5 years in the making, because I told him to cut the fat with his joke, so he's just taken that line and he fed it to her as an insult, and it's like it's so
He
good.
goes to the grocery store. Hey, have you guys ever thought of cutting the fat with these long ass lines?
It was so good.
Dude, cutting the fat was one of the best advice that I could get. It was super important.
It's a good. I think.
It's basic advice though. It's not like
I think that comes along with move the mic stand out of the way. Is cut the fat, because a lot of times we say way too much when it's just unnecessary shit. There's one guy at Worthington's. I don't remember his name.
Carlos Patino.
Yeah, it was Carlos Patino. It was me. No, but he went on to tell a story, and it took all 5 minutes to talk about this story of him in a club or some bullshit. And literally 3 parts of his story were funny.
Yep.
He kept repeating himself, so it was like, okay, you need to cut that.
I think what it is when people start comedy, they listen to other comedians and they hear the cadence of comedy. They hear like, when you talk about comedy, you talk about this, and then bada boom, and you have a punchline. But they're not realizing that all of those words were important to get to the joke. What is the fucking point? Yeah. And she was just crazy. She was a fucking crazy person.
She was crazy. But it was, and she had a license. She drove a big ass car.
I thought she was gonna run us over.
Really?
When she got in her car, when she got in her truck?
I'll show these motherfuckers I'm funny.
It was a Hummer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was H2.
It might as well be a tank.
H3.
Oh, look, I don't know. It was like nighttime. Might have been an H2. I logged in my brain night. Though
Either way, it would have wrecked the shit out of us.
The other day, whenever the last time we were at Brooks, I walked in and football was on the screen, but I would bet my life that when I walked in and you asked me what sport was on the screen, I saw baseball. Oh. So don't rely on my memory at all.
You're not a sports guy, right? Unless
No,
it's like MMA or...
No, I don't care about sports. Even MMA is like, I care about the training and the intricacies, but the general fight in itself gives me a lot of anxiety. Like, my hands get sweaty when I watch it.
Why?
Because I know what both guys are risking. I can relate. I'm very empathetic towards combat sports because I've always been around it and involved, so I know like the emotional toll that it takes on them. And if they like, I don't want to see anyone lose, but I want to see someone get knocked the fuck out. So
I love it. I love it. I love when someone's talking shit and they get defeated, and then also they have to walk out of the octagon all fucking discouraged. I love
when someone's talking shit and they can back it up.
Yeah.
Like Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go.
Yeah.
For a long time when I was running, when I'd hit that wall when I wanted to quit, I would pretend I was running with Nick Diaz and he was calling me a bitch.
I just accepted it, but yes, I am. I'm going to stop running now.
Do you think that's like is that nurture or nature? That I was talking with a friend about that. She was talking about grit.
Slut.
She's talking about like your mentality of like, I just pretend this person's talking shit to me and I keep going. Would do the opposite for Carlos. Is that born or is that nurtured?
For me, it's nurtured because it's a weird like. My self-talk is self-deprecating, but also kind of motivating. So it's like this is hard. You can't do it, but I've done it. Thing. Like it sucks, but you'll get through it. It's still kind of motivational for me, but it's a frequency of self-speak that I've developed and learned. Because it used to be all negative. It used to be, you can't do it. Fuck you, I can do it. And it's work, but you got to be self-edifying, I guess.
And Carlos?
What?
How did
Dude, you explained it, and I tried to piece together the context, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck you asked.
Basically, what do you do to motivate yourself?
I was gonna say masturbate, but that's a cheap joke. What do I do to motivate myself? Oh, goddamn. I talk to myself a lot.
Is it in the same way, George?
It's not necessarily motivating. It's kind of just like reasoning, you know? Like, I don't know. I listen to music that you know, motivates me.
No, I think I get what you're saying. I definitely reason with myself when there's no, like, problem. You know, like, if I'm running, the problem is I might quit soon at any point. Even if I'm a half mile in, I might quit soon. So if there's a problem, there's usually self-talk behind it saying, you can get through this, you've done this, don't be a bitch. But if I'm just driving and I'm going through life, I'm more zen. Like, how do I explain this? I feel like, I don't know how other people's brain works, but I feel like my brain is always... It's like a kitchen that's always working. Like it's always churning out ideas. It's always trying to feed me new ideas, and it's my job as like an expo line to kind of sift through that ideas and serve the best idea. So when I'm like driving, my job is to try and quiet down that kitchen so that it sends out less, so that I can have more time with the thoughts of like, what do I think about this? What do I think about this? What do I think about this? And that's where I apply like reasoning to it instead of just self-talk.
I guess I'm similar to that. Yeah. Do you guys listen to music that motivates you to go on stage though?
Music doesn't motivate. It's fun.
I have hype songs now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name one.
Oh, I did. Fort Minor. Remember the name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite hype songs. That's my life hype song.
Dude.
Fort Minor?
Yeah. You don't know, remember that? Yes, you do. You know that song. You just don't know Mike Shinoda.
Yeah. So, when we did the drop-in at the Hideaway, and you let me bark for time and shit like that. Considering it was like very unorganized, that it was really. Do you remember?
We're talking about it was Tony Bowers, Stephanie Michelle, and David Alvarez. Yeah.
So it didn't really go as planned as I imagined, but it was still fun as fuck. I don't know about you, but like on my way there, I was listening to "Fine" by Mike Shinoda. It's like
nice.
Is the new track that he
I know that song.
Dude, that one, I was just like, even though...
He's a great producer.
Yeah, we were like looking at the situation, and there was MAGA hats, and it was Dia de los Muertos like going on outside. There was a lot of foot traffic, but no one was coming in. And we got this group in, but I just kept repeating to myself, like, everything's going to be fine, just like that song was saying. So I was just like, oh, shit. And then when I got on stage, I was like... Everything is fine.
Was that your first time doing what was supposed to have been 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron, I don't know if you know the Fort Minor, remember the name, but the hook is that it's 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power.
Good.
5% pleasure, 50%
that's my hype song.
and 100% reason to remember the name.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
So,
I can't listen to hype
Mike,
songs.
he doesn't need his name. All right, whatever.
He just wants to be heard.
I know. I have to listen to calm things before I get on stage because if I have too much energy, it comes off as insane.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm better when I'm calmer.
Sweet.
I think I need to have a perfect balance of chaos in my brain to get on stage and have a good set. Like, I have to be nervous, but I also have to be stretched out and relaxed, but my mindset has to be sharp. So it's like a weird, perfect storm.
Where do you guys feel comfortable where you're like, it doesn't matter how things are going, I feel good here?
Are we talking about a place or how much time we're doing?
Place. Location. Worthington's, Hideaway.
The Ice House.
Comfortable?
The fucking Ice House.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count?
No.
Okay.
Like, that you can hit on the regular.
Where do I fit?
No, you could probably hit.
I don't know. Honestly, I've never really... I get excited to do new places. So I'm comfortable any place that I frequent, but I don't do well in the places that I'm comfortable.
I feel like I'm too comfortable at the Hideaway. Because, like, I finally went to, like, the Marquee, like a couple of weeks ago. Or a few weeks ago, and I felt that nervous feeling again, where I was just like, "Oh shit, this is uncharted territories."
It's fun. I enjoy that.
And it was exciting.
So like when I went now, like I think Wednesdays I'm gonna just go to McFadden's. But it's an outdoor spot. It's challenging. It's new. It's cold, and there's a lot of things that make it difficult that I enjoy. Because like the last time I went there, I had a great set, but I was nervous as shit.
Oh.
You know, because it was my second time there. It was my first time booked there. So I was doing like 10, 15 minutes. I don't even know how much I did. I just waited till the light showed up.
Sweet.
Because, I don't know.
I want to get to that level. And I think I could have gone longer when I did the hideaway, because you said I did about 8 minutes.
About 8,
or so.
yeah.
So I was like, I could have gone longer, but I was heading to that area where it's like, I call it the dark zone, where I'm just like, I have nothing, and I have to pull it straight out of my ass. And I'm like, for some reason, I was like, I can't go there yet. You know, so I was just like, this is feeling too good, because that crowd was fun.
Yeah.
So, or that group of people, it wasn't really a crowd, but the group of people that was there, like, they were a lot of fun, and it made it feel like I was actually like performing. And it was sick as fuck. It was so much fun.
Doing 10 minutes is so different than doing 5.
Yeah.
And doing 15 is really different than doing 10.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's exponential, not more difficult, but it's exponentially different. Like, because you do 5 and you think you know. You're like, okay, I know my set. And then you do 10, you're like, oh, shit, there's like at least 2 lulls that I have to get through. Then you do 15, and you're like, all right, there's this last lull that I just can't get out of. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird.
That's what I think. Street stand up. Like, I want to try that shit.
You want to come out tonight?
I do, tonight, maybe.
Okay.
I got to talk to the wife.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, because
Even just drop by. Just do it.
Yeah,
It
you
is,
can just come by.
It is, it's hard to say what you get from it. I haven't done it enough to really articulate what kind of skills and things you have to do for street stand-up that makes it different than regular stand-up. But it is different in a sense where, like, you're going to definitely pick up a new skill.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is yet. I've only done it like twice, 3 times.
I want to try.
I mean, I can tell you what I picked up from it personally, but also you're welcome to come by. This is not an announcement for everyone to come fucking do street stand up. Like,
This is not going out tonight. Don't worry about it.
okay, cool.
Y'all fuckers not invited, basically.
No, because I think the buddy system.
I'll be right back.
I think we've done enough where the buddy system's like for the community. It's everyone can do stand up, and that's great. I want to do a thing for me specifically so I can get better, because there was a long time where I was hosting all of this. Do you remember that? Where I was hosting every night.
That's crazy, dude.
And I was miserable.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't work on my material because I'm going up first, starting this goddamn show. And so, street stand-up is like my own little thing that I enjoy doing. But yeah, you're welcome to come by.
Sweet.
In terms of what I've learned, it helped me with getting really comfortable on stage. Like, when you're out there for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. I gotta say, it does show, too.
What do you mean?
Like when you, because, all right, so I saw the 10 minutes that you did at the Ice House that you posted.
Oh, yeah.
You seem really relaxed.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but you said it was real easy. But not only that, when I went to go bark for you at the Hideaway, so I went to go bark and you were on stage, and when I came back down, it was like I was like, I don't know what's going on, but you seemed relaxed either way.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, oh, okay.
And
it was 15 minutes, like on the nose.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, oh, so he can easily do this shit now.
Yeah, I can easily do 15 now, and I know I can do 20.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
But what street stand-up does is you're out there for so long, and there's so many moments of lull and discomfort, and then fun, and then lull and discomfort.
A lot of dark zones.
Yeah, a lot. You just
Oh my God.
You just get used to it. You just
yeah.
And then you get so used to it and so comfortable that when it does start happening, that dark zone, I guess if you want to call it that, it's not that bad. Like,
Okay.
I'll even tell the audience, like, it'll be really funny, and then it'll start going down, and I'll tell the audience, like, all right, guys, been doing this a while now, and this is normal. It's going to get kind of weird. Just we'll keep talking. It'll get fun again. And then the other thing I learned, I was talking to Will Henderson about this on Night Guy and Baldy. I'm learning my demographic, the people that would actually like me and pay to see me,
right.
because there's this. When you're on a stage or at a show or doing 5 minutes, there's a disconnect. But when you have to sit on the street and you're at the same level, because this isn't like your venue or anything, you're at the same level as the audience. You just happen to have a microphone.
Yeah.
They have way more access to you, and the people that stay and talk to me and the people that seem excited are the ones that were like that would pay to come see a show.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to figure out who actually would be my demographic.
What do you think your crowd is going to look like? People that come to see you.
Old white people, young girls, weebs, and crazy people, like drug addicts, and
Okay.
it's a weird mix of people.
It's an eclectic group right there. What about you? Like, when you imagine people who would come to see you, what do you imagine? What kind of people?
People that will like see and then actively come to see me are usually anyone that's under the age of 45.
Under the age of 45?
Yeah.
Anybody under the age of 45?
Yeah. Okay. I do well with minority crowds. Black crowds seem to like my stuff. Cool. I've never really bombed in front of a black crowd, but I've also never crushed in front of a black. Black crowds. It's about momentum and energy, and it's less about the content. And so my energy's not always there with my set. So it's like I've never really crushed there. I only crush with like a mixed bag of people. Like I don't have a group that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna. Like, I don't stick my head out and be like, oh, it's white people, I'm going to do great. Oh, it's black people, it's going to be great. If it's mixed, I do well because I think I'm ambiguous enough where it's like, I look relatable, but I'm also, like, friendly enough where I'm not threatening.
All right, so your crowd is standing outside in line to see you. It's wrapped up 3 blocks because they really want to see you. What are they doing in line?
Taking selfies because most of them are girls.
What about you? What are your people doing in line?
Playing with Star Wars lightsabers.
It looks like Comic-Con.
No, it's man, dude, I can't wait for you to come out because you'll see the people that stay playing with Star Wars lightsabers, doing drugs, old white people staring in anger at them for doing those things.
Oh my God.
And then young girls.
Do you do market night?
I did it, and I will not do that again because there's music playing, and it's just not good for it. Like I get in the way. People are more angry than inviting when I'm there. So I like doing it when there's few people walking by.
My crowd is sharing a pizza. They're just passing around pizzas.
You can't be your own crowd. I'll
be in my crowd.
Yeah,
I'll provide the pizza.
Speaking of, I wrote a question.
What's up?
So what's your plan in this comedy work? Like, what is your goal?
My goal is to pay my bills. Not substantially, but be able to pay my bills and take care of my family with comedy.
That's fair.
That's it.
It's totally reasonable.
Like, as much as I'm making now, if I can make that doing comedy, fuck yeah. That's a success. I'm like, holy shit.
Okay, what's your next comedic stepping stone then?
Comedic stepping stone?
Because everyone's got the same end goal. We just want to pay our bills with comedy. So
some people just want to get famous. They want the recognition.
But they're never going to get it with that mentality.
Right. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah. So, like, you see your tree of success, but what's your first step towards that tree of success?
Get funny.
You need to have a plan. You should quit. If that's your plan, you should quit.
Oh, my God.
It's going to take you forever, dude. Yeah. 19 years, I assume, it's going to take you.
That's fine. That's fair. Like I said, it took me 19 years to almost get paid playing the drums. So
you're a year in, so maybe this is a early question, but are you past the point of quitting already?
Yes.
You like, fuck it, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm past the point of quitting.
That's good.
Ever since, like, I've gotten into arguments with my wife because I go out to do stand-up, so I'm like, yep, it's definitely past that point. Yeah, because I still go, you know, like, me and my wife will get into a discussion about it, and then, like, we'll, disagree.
And then she's like, you're not even funny, and then...
I don't think she's ever told me that.
That's a mean. That's a divorce.
She knows you'll leave.
No, I don't think...
No, but I'll hit her.
No.
Smack the shit out of that bitch for slanging that disrespect.
That's open palm worthy to say you're not funny.
Not for me, dude. No, my wife thinks I'm funny, dude. Honestly.
In terms of stepping stones, like, I think I know what George is. Like, what is the next... Fuck, I don't know how to word it.
Okay, for me...
There you go.
I want to put 30 minutes down somewhere. I want to record it. It could be an album, could be a special, it could be just something I shoot on my own. But I know I have the material, but I know it's not done. Okay. So I know my end goal, possibly for the end of 2020, is to have a 30-minute thing that at the end of a set I can be like, hey, if you like this, check this out. I'm slanging CDs or something.
I have a good stepping stone. To have a solid 10 where it's just like over and over. It's like it's more funny moments in that 10 minutes than not funny, you know?
Yeah.
So like,
just
I want to be like
fire 10.
I want to be able to put a fire 10 down that I could post online.
A tight 10,
yeah.
I guess they would call it, right?
Yeah,
that's what the kids in the biz call it.
Yeah.
I don't know all this jargon and lingo that you fuckers use.
Something worthy enough to post on Instagram at least, you know? Because like I've had I recorded my set at the Improv, and there's some moments that I'm like, I can cut that up, put that on Instagram, and I'd be satisfied with it. But I always talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
But
I would say, personally speaking, yes, video is important, especially in 2019, 2020. But it's not important where it's going to affect your career your first 1 to 5 years in. You don't have the basics, the fundamentals to like. It could be good. It could be a fire joke, but what you would get in benefits from posting that potentially, you not saying you. This is a royal you, but in the first 5 years of comedy, you don't have the full ability to really take advantage of those. If you have a good joke, people are going to see it. They're going to want to book you and be like, "Hey, can you come out to this place?" And then you're going to hit a spot that like there's 30 feet between me and the audience. I don't have the tools to handle this. Yeah. So it could be one of those like potentially booking too early. But I do like that you are a person that isn't going to put up something that's not of quality, because we see a lot of people who think that they're mediocre jokes are, one, worth putting on Instagram as a video, and two, worth putting text on your picture because that's your fucking joke. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's so
you mean
dumb.
like a still of you on stage? And
and then your text of your joke, and you've been doing it less than 6 years?
Yeah, nobody cares.
You can kick rocks and kiss my
No one's
ass.
going to read your joke.
No. Why don't you tell it to me the next time I see you?
Not only that, like the texting, like it's just the reason it works with comics that we all know is because we know what their voice fucking sounds like. Yeah. You know,
they've established their persona with us.
Yeah.
I have my favorite question I love to ask.
Okay, I've been prepping for this. Let's go.
Oh, you already know what it is.
What is it?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Does he have to spit on it before?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's definitely a before spit.
I got cotton mouth. Go ahead.
Who in our scene or near our scene or our level is underrated or feels like they deserve more respect than they're getting? Like they're funny and people don't realize it, and why?
Underrated, man. Gosh, that's a.
Dude, you've been preparing for this question and you still got to think? No wonder it took you 19 years to be.
I didn't think about it that much. I didn't think about it that much. Plus, you just blew weed smoke in my face, which is a good thing. But I don't know, dude. Like underrated, I would say. God damn it! It's easier to say overrated. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we can start there.
No, I'll write down a name for you guys right now about
who's overrated. You can tell us after.
For who's overrated?
After we're done recording, you can tell us.
I shouldn't even be saying that because obviously, like, I'm not even.
I want to know now.
You know?
Write it down on my paper.
Yeah. So I don't want to be mean.
But
I'll do it.
There's coffee and water if you guys.
I would say underrated. Mm-hmm. I would say Jonathan, since he's walked into the building.
Aww. You know? Jonathan's
because he's adjusted, you know, to being a comic, you know, quick. You know,
I really wish you said this before he walked in.
He's evolved. I know, right? Tony Ross, especially since he, like, I don't know, he's not a great host. He's a garbage of a host.
Yeah,
dude, I didn't even have to be with everybody else to know that shit wasn't going to work. You know?
Okay,
like,
I have
as soon as he started calling out names, I was like, "This is."
I have a personal perspective that I'm not going to say has anything to do with Tony Ross. It's just it drummed up the memory. But we've been watching a lot of people host, and so I have a very George perspective about hosting. I think. I think hosting is a good. It's, you know how like roast battle is a good showcase for your joke writing skills.
Yeah.
I think hosting is a good showcase for how well you grasp the fundamentals of comedy.
Yeah.
It's like a good smoke session or a good smoker in a gym or something, because you have to be up there constantly and you have to know how to own the stage, control the rhythm of a show, reset the room, fix the rhythm of a show, be present. So there's a lot of fundamentals that come with hosting that if you're not a good host, that automatically tells me you're not grasping the fundamentals of comedy. You're not ready to move to the next level. So I think if you ever want to be a good comic, you don't necessarily have to host a show, but you have to know that you're competent enough to host a show.
Yeah.
And until you can do that, you can't move on to the next level.
Yeah.
So if you suck as a host, people, fix that shit because that's on you. Like, you're missing things.
Stephen Roth is very underrated as well.
Yeah.
Frankie Oy. He's very underrated.
I have things to say about you too and Stephen Roth, but before I say them, what would you say if you were to give like Tony notes, or what did he do wrong?
Gosh, I don't know. He's just I wouldn't demand him to give energy because that's not how he is.
Well, I think okay.
I can't be like, give me more energy because that's not his personality.
You can have energy, but also be low energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a difference between having energy and keeping the audience engaged.
That's what I would say. I'd say give out free beers because that shit works.
You can, but make sure the people you're giving beers to are 21.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's important.
Oh, fuck.
But, yeah, when he was...
Sorry, Hideaway, my bad.
Jesus. When he was pulling...
Sorry, every bar I've ever been to, I've been buying underage girls beer all the time. Sorry.
I need to remind
They
Frankie.
were in here. I thought you needed to...
I need to remind Frankie. Well, they were already drinking.
Yeah, and it was past 9. It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All right, go.
But no, he like the pulling out the names thing. It was strange seeing that because it was like, why are we doing this so slowly?
Yeah.
It's not funny. We're not making jokes right now. We're just doing it slowly.
I think one thing you told me when you were showing me around the ins and the outs of hosting at the Hideaway, you had told me like when you read notes or when you tell people what's going on, you're not doing your set. Like you're not.
Yeah.
Don't try to be funny. Just get your point across and move along.
The efficiency is super important. I think one of the reasons why our shows have been going as well as they are is that the way we run them is like, come on, we don't have time. We do not have time to fuck around. Let's let these comics get on stage and do their thing. And it's like, if you think about it from the perspective of a comic at an open mic, I'm sure it's infuriating watching a host fuck around up there because you're like, I just want to get on stage and do my time.
Yeah.
And you're up there fucking around like just...
That reminds me... Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I want to hear it.
That reminds me of one time you probably were gone. It was at the Getaway, and I was about to go up, and the girl that went up before me was the one chick that you were sign languaging way too loud with. You couldn't whisper.
Fucking yelling at the show. I don't know how you can sign language and be black during a movie.
And loud.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah. But that's all right. So that chick went up before me, and she obviously does sign language. This is at the Getaway. Jonathan Tynes was hosting, and he goes, "Hey, can you do sign language to a song?" And he brought her back up.
Oh my God!
And then she did sign language to a song to Eminem or some bullshit. And I'm waiting there like, I'm supposed to go up right now, man. What's going on? So I was just like, yeah. But you know what? That ended up being a good thing because I acknowledged it and it set the tone a certain way, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's fun again," you know.
Yeah, I think it's just when you're hosting an open mic, it's like no one gives a fuck about you. Just get hi Jonathan.
I have an opinion on this. I think to have also a successful mic, one of the key One of the key things about comedy, I feel like, is it has to be fun for the audience, or else they're not even gonna. Like, it doesn't matter. I feel like it doesn't matter how good your jokes are, because Devlin or Gold or someone who like has chops, they can do their best shit, but 5 people won't be paying attention. So I feel like if you engage and make it fun for them, it's like, oh, okay, this is a fun show. I want to pay attention now. That's my 2 cents.
It didn't ruin the show. It just threw me off a bit. But it was fun, dude. Honestly, like after going up after that, and I acknowledged it the way that I did, it made my set better. I can't be mad.
Let's make this an exercise in comedy because only comedians fucking listen to this Buddycast. Why do you think, and what did you do to reset the room? But why did you think that situation didn't ruin the show, and how did you address it to make sure that what were you doing? Why did that work?
Because I was pretend mad, and it was a little confusing for everybody. You know, so acknowledging that I was just like, I was coming up and I was mad about it, and I wasn't afraid to talk about, being quote unquote mad about it, but I was like throwing jokes about it, like, I think that's why it made it fun, because everyone loves when shit is talked, but in the right way. Not that I'm good at it or anything like that, but I definitely acknowledged it in a shit talking way. Like I threw it back at Jonathan real quick, and I don't know, I don't think it would work all the time though. Because if I didn't know Jonathan and I did that shit, it would not go as well as it did.
I think that the reason it worked was because you pointed out the elephant in the room, and that the audience. I think what what works with comedy, what makes a good comedian is someone who is, I was saying this last night, someone who's incredibly self-aware.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Someone who's incredibly self-aware and will say the things that the audience realizes, whether it's subconscious or not, but they're going to say the things that the audience is unwilling to say in a funny manner. So I think that because you acknowledged it, it was self-aware, and you probably said it in a funny way, the audience was on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say it's if you had to put a thumbnail or a word to it, it's because you remained present.
Yeah.
In the room. The moment anyone, like, you have to address the room because comedy is live. It's a different animal, you know? And a lot of people want to just do their shit, which can be distracting if something happened. You know, let's say a glass falls, you can't just ignore the glass now. You have to address it because now everyone's attention is not at you. It's at the glass, and they want to know what happened. And when you say something that I understand, like, you're saying what the audience is thinking. You're saying, I would say, what 40% of the audience is thinking, and you're going to say what 60% of the audience hasn't thought yet.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, that's funny. And it puts everyone under this common banner of, like, we all think this funny. Cool. He's funny. Let's pay attention to this guy.
Are you guys, I don't want to put you guys in a weird position, but are you guys going to talk about what happened with the getaway, or is that like off mic?
It's not really a thing.
Off mic thing.
No, it's not an off mic thing.
Yeah,
I got there, and Omar was like, hey, man, did Sean talk to you? And I was like, no. And he said, it was your last night.
Oh.
And it was just because...
on Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. It was the day when I got there, they just told me it was the last show, and it was because... It was because we got too many complaints. I assume the complaints were people being offended, but I don't know. I don't know.
I hope so.
We should just do guerrilla shows there. Just pop up.
It's what I'm thinking is going to happen is if we decide to go back, just stay respectful. That's how we did with the Hideaway. When they kicked us out, we didn't shit talk. We didn't say anything. It's like, okay, I understand.
I mean, it would make sense that people get offended because it's a college crowd. They're very PC, dude.
It's not even that it's PC. It's
entitled.
Yeah, it's entitlement.
Yeah.
They don't do it because they're trying to be politically correct. They walk into political correctness, and they have transitioned from high school to college, and they're of adult age because they can make adult decisions, but they've never experienced the adult world. So that's this weird entitlement that they don't even realize they have.
Yeah.
So, it went from Thursdays to Wednesdays, and then from Wednesdays...
the moment they changed our day, I was like, oh, we're on our way out. So it was like, when he told me that, I was like, oh, yeah, I figured.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's like moving around a show. You're like, hey, we're going to give you the Tuesday 6 o'clock show.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But if it was a banger, I bet they wouldn't have kicked us out.
Probably not.
But they probably would have waited till the next week. So.
But yeah, the entitlement thing, like were you there when the girl? Well, I was going back and forth with that girl.
The Spaniard,
Chelsea,
Spaniard lady.
Yeah, no, that
Spanish
was a whole
lady?
other night. The last night of the getaway. Were you there?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Jonathan was there. Yeah. The entitlement thing is so like. This is a perfect example of it. I was doing the freestyle shit. We were fucking around, and then this girl hot girl at the bar type of girl. You know what I mean? She starts yelling out for me to rap, and I said, I already did that. And she was like, you have to rap for me. And I was like, you could, would you not, do you not understand English? Like, I already did that. And then that back and forth kept happening. That entitlement, that like, entertain me. I'm special, I'm important, you're a fucking monkey, you're a clown, entertain me. That's the thing that's going on in a lot of their heads, and I don't like that.
Yeah, that's really weird. Yeah.
Because they're still kids, though. Like, I had that mentality for a long time. It's like, until you really do have the life experience to mature and get out of your own box, everything is egocentric. You're an American. That's society.
And those type of people, like at open mics or comedy open mics, they don't understand what's going on. They don't know that we're purposefully bombing to try to find something that's worth using sometimes. So it's not going to be funny. Yeah. A lot of the times it's not going to be funny. If I can, I mean, that's not my intentions, but like it happens, you know? So it's like, if I could give myself advice, for sure, like back in the day, I'd be like, don't invite anybody.
Jeez, yeah.
It's gonna be trash. Like, it's horrible.
Right.
Even when your shit is okay, it's still gonna be garbage. You don't want people to see you, you know. I have people from my old church that are like, "Oh, when are you gonna invite me?" I'm like, "Never."
Yeah, when I get a show.
Yeah, I was like, not even then. I was like, I'm not gonna invite people who I know aren't gonna enjoy the show.
Yeah,
who are gonna be shocked because of how Carlos is now.
I'll probably get into more detail when Jonathan's Buddycast is up, but you, Jonathan, and Stephen Roth, I like the dynamic.
What do you mean?
That it seems like all of you guys are not stopping and coming up together, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
it was it's more when I see Jonathan and Stephen Roth. They've made this.
They're very gay with each other.
Yeah, they love touching each other and talking about how sad they are
That's
together.
Fine.
And they hug.
I have Frankie Oy. That's cool.
Yeah, Frankie.
No, you don't. He doesn't even show up to co-host your podcast.
No, dude, I don't know what's up with that. Yeah,
Frankie goes hard on Nick. Jesus.
Yeah.
On Nick Lanny?
Yeah.
He's unnaturally good at heckling for some reason. He's like, is this a new joke? He's like, Jesus.
Wow.
Did you ever answer? I guess you named the entire IE comedy scene with Aaron's question. Never mind.
Yeah, who was your number one? Your number one underrated comic of the IE.
Number one underrated? Fuck,
deserves more shine.
While you think about that, I'm gonna truncate that question and then tag onto it. Who do you think could be representative? Like if someone's like, what is the IE comedy scene? What do they talk about? What level are they at? Who would you be like, go watch this guy?
Oh, this is fun.
Oh my goodness.
I like that question. We should tag that forever.
Who
or girl
who
like,
represents the IE comedy
maybe
scene?
not even representative, but who in your mind would be a good...
You know who I would want? Okay, this is a good way to say it. Who I would want to be like, that's an IE comic right there, is Juan Cias. For me to be like, yeah, like he doesn't represent IE comedy, but if I were to be like, this is one of the funniest dudes that the IE has,
That's fair. Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah.
Because, there is a group of comics that I would say are around or on his level as well that are just as funny but different.
Because he's also professional. Mm-hmm. He's very professional, very poised.
Poise is a really good word for him.
He's very poised, and I love that he's what is he again? Like a grave digger or some shit like that?
A grave robber.
Yeah.
Grave
What
robber.
is
He wears full suits to dig graves.
Yeah, what is it?
He's a mortician.
Mortician, there you go. Sorry. Yeah.
Mortician Adams.
Yeah, this guy... So he's around dead bodies all the time. So it's just crazy that he does comedy. Or it kind of even makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
So he's like, he's a mortician, he's around these dead bodies. I wonder if he fucks around them. So he has a near-death experience.
I remember once he is popping up just like randomly on the radar. It was weird because like there was already a scene, a crowd, and regulars when he came around, and then it was like a UFO just coming into existence on the radar. You're like, where the fuck did this guy come from? He can fly. He knows how this works. He's dressed professionally. Has he been doing this? Like,
when did he? I don't remember. I
want to say he started about 4 or 5 years ago.
But when did he start showing up at the IE, the buddy system?
Oh, I don't know. Juan and I have always kind of been friends. That's why. So I've always been aware of him.
He was the first comic that I was just like, oh shit, these people actually do this. Like, I can't come up with I went to Vegas and I got drunk story. Like, I can't do that shit here.
You can.
I mean, you can, but it's not as...
Just got to make it funny.
Yeah.
Put jokes in.
I think Juan Cias was the first time I realized that, like, you do have to put in time, but you can grind and chip away at some of those years. Like, you can... when I saw him, I felt like he'd been doing it for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
But he had just started. But it's because he wrote. He grinded it out, and he managed to shave off or maybe even add 2 years of experience just in the amount of time he spent with the pen. So that's why I was like, oh, I can only go on stage once a week, but I can write like a motherfucker. So
like he would be like if we were like choose your best player, I would say Juan Cias is one of our best players.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah.
He's a good representation for.
And for some reason, I'm drawing a blank of all the other people that are
underrated
around us.
That's probably for a reason. They're not memorable.
Yeah,
and it's not an insult, but it's like your first 3 years in, you're probably not going to be memorable. No one's going to know who you are.
I think of everyone that I talk to, not just necessarily who's going on stage, because like I go to the same places. If I were to branch out in the IE a little more, and I'll be able to see more faces. But in where we're at right now, I think, because I see Juan Cias a lot, so him. Yeah. And he's nice as hell.
He's very
super
nice.
Cool. Yeah. Super cool dude. That's what you want. You don't want someone to I don't know.
He's easy to work with. Jesus, it's so nice.
There's only a certain amount of assholes that I'm like, I'll deal with you, but every once in a while I'm not going to be cool with it. Like WBH.
Oh yeah,
William Bradford Holland.
Oh, is that his name?
He's a very likable asshole, but sometimes I'm like, I get it, dude.
Yeah,
I get it. You've made it, and I haven't.
Yeah, that's really.
You know,
No,
I love him. I love him. He's freaking like.
He's very funny.
I hate that most of the time he's right.
I don't think he's right most of the time.
Not most of the time?
No, I think
a lot of the times.
I don't even think he's right a lot of the times.
He's not right at all, ever.
There you go. No.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I think, and also we should probably get him on a podcast because we're going to talk. He should have the ability to speak back. But
he was supposed to be on mine.
Was he? Yeah. What happened?
He worked.
That makes sense.
He had to work. So.
But no, I don't think he's right most of the time. I think he's just very confident and intelligent with how he words his arguments.
Yeah.
And what he does is he speaks quickly because he knows he can speak quickly and it will still make sense. Mm-hmm. And he blitzes you. So like he'll speak fast and on point on all the stuff. He's probably thought the stuff through, and he speaks so fast that it makes you feel like you have to also speak fast.
I think blitzing is a good word.
You stumble over your words, and then he has you now because you've stumbled over your words.
Why do we always want to win arguments though?
Because we're comics.
I don't want to. I just do.
Yeah.
So
like even with like believing in God and not believing in God, why the fuck do we got to argue that shit?
It's fun.
Okay, I know it is.
I honestly,
but it's like, I don't know.
I don't have a desire to be right because I know most of the time I'm wrong. If that makes sense. Like I don't. If I think I'm right about something, I'll talk to you about it. But if you have the facts to sway my opinion, I'm not committed to almost everything in my life.
You can Google it and get a straight answer, then you're probably right.
Yeah, like if I have to say, yeah, but what he means is, then I'm wrong.
If I could be like, let me Google it, then I don't.
I think people in general just don't like being wrong.
Yeah.
But I understand now that where I'm wrong, I can learn. So I have no problem being wrong. I don't feel the need to argue and be right. I just happen to be right a lot.
I'm in the same boat of it's fine to be wrong and I don't mind it at all. I just like to argue because it's fun, and then you get to learn more.
I argue to the point where I've stated all my facts, and if you're still not convinced, I'm done with you because there's no talking you out of it or into it or even having a discussion. So many people want to pick a dumb hill to die on and aren't willing to discuss any topics. And it's like, all right, man, this is just Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. Chill the fuck out. It's the same shit. I don't know. You don't think it's the same shit? I think Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi taste the same. Pepsi and Coke don't taste the same, but Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi
I don't drink Diet anything.
Same.
We know.
That shit. It's Coke or Pepsi, and Coke wins.
Isn't Diet just as bad?
Nutritionally speaking, yes, but calorically speaking, it's a 0 next to the number, or it's a 0 for a number. Yeah. So, I mean,
probably just drink water, maybe. Then.
I mean, you're smoking a vape. You're putting vegetable glycerol into your lungs. If we're talking about nutrition,
this is true. I can't talk all that shit. I mean, I can. I'm still gonna keep talking all that shit.
It's what the people that are like, it's bad for you. It's like, well, you're going outside in California for one, so you're already gonna get cancer.
If the sun itself gives you skin cancer,
yeah. The state of California is known in the state of California to cause cancer.
Anywhere. We're not safe anywhere.
Dumb. That gives me anxiety to think about sometimes that I could be having a perfectly normal day and then the next day have a mole and be like, oh shit. I might have a melanoma. I might have some kind of stage 9 cancer.
So scary.
It is though.
You ever watch Grey's Anatomy?
All the time, dude.
Someone dies on that show every day.
I know. Of cancer.
Yeah, of anything.
Yeah. I love Grey's.
Someone
it's great.
dies. Someone died of the hiccups the other day. I was watching Grey's Anatomy. The hiccups.
Are you joking?
No.
That sounds familiar. That's early season.
Yeah,
Grey's,
yeah.
Like season 3.
Like the dude's wife. He's like, she has the hiccups.
That's right. No, she went in for the hiccups, got surgery, and died on the table.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy watching that aspect of Grey's too. They don't pussyfoot around the fact that, hey, you know what? Sometimes we make a wrong cut and we fuck up.
They found a towel inside someone.
Yeah. Oh, you just restarted it or something?
No, I just started watching it with the wife. No, and then there was one where my wife told me about it, and I'm like, I'm not watching that shit. was when someone had like a bomb inside of them or something.
Oh yeah,
they
that was
took
cool.
it out, and then the SWAT team, it blew up on the SWAT team taking it out. I was like, what the fuck?
Up? They're like, all right, you're free to go, and she goes, and she's all safe, and boom.
They're like, we need a punchline.
Yeah,
we need a
it was
twist.
Great.
We need a twist.
Yeah. Honestly, the last like 10 seconds of the episode, the bomb goes off, and you see the dude's body just disintegrate in the hallway, and then the episode ends with everyone just reacting like,
it's like someone was gonna die. They should have just let the patient blow up.
Yeah,
Why do they have someone who
just roll them away?
Yeah, take away a hero from the world, huh?
Yeah. The hero was straight telling her too, like, I don't like you, but I'll save your life because it's my job. And then he died.
Hey, Carlos Patino.
Yes.
Did your upbringing foster your comedy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because I have loving parents. I know everyone's like, oh, I have at least one parent that hates the shit out of me.
Do you think do you think you have to suffer to be?
You know what? Maybe.
Okay.
I'm sorry to cut you.
No.
Because all right, I was raised very religiously. You know, I tell people this story like all the time that like it was Pentecostal. I was in a Pentecostal church, and the pastor's wife had, because the little girls at the church wanted to do a father-daughter dance, and the pastor's wife was like, no, because dancing is sexual. Yeah, that was Aaron Chase's dick falling on the table, by the way.
How hot were these daughters though? Let's be real.
Fucking open-toed shoes. God damn. No,
Spaghetti strap.
That's so fucking annoying.
1 inch above the
but
finger.
It was stuff. I grew up around stuff like that, and I was told that gay people are going straight to hell, which is impossible.
Is that why you're so homophobic?
I'm not homophobic. What in the shit?
Dude, you
man?
punch my dick when I put it in front of your face.
It's pretty gay.
That's because it's ugly.
Very anti-gay.
It's okay.
If you
My
had a-
dick's a lot of things, but it's not ugly.
If you had a pretty one,
it's cut. It's clean.
What constitutes a pretty penis?
It's just a little.
I don't know, man.
Doesn't look like an anteater.
I'm not one to judge. No. I'm not one to judge a penis because I know mine is terrible.
I'm cool with mine.
Anyway, you were saying you didn't suffer. I think you suffered from a passive form of suffering, like being sheltered.
Yeah.
Is a different form of pressure.
Yeah,
and pressure
yeah.
makes diamonds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would say
that's why Catholic girls are a keeper.
they like it in the butt. I don't know.
They do. They
do
do
they?
because it's not a sin.
I've never-
It's not sex
Yeah.
if it's in the butt.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's like reverse poop.
If I jizz, it's sex. Okay, and I masturbate.
Sinner.
But no, like, just do you think there's a
Do I give off a homophobic vibe?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because you always talk about how shit's gay and stuff, but you don't sound like you're joking. It's fine, I don't care. But
That's the best that I got. That's the only thing.
No, I feel like your homophobic vibe that you give off is that you used to be homophobic and you're over it and now you joke about it now.
Probably that's what it is.
You know who does give off a very homophobic vibe is Tony Ross.
Really?
yeah,
If
yeah.
Tony was like, all right, I'm gay, I was like, yeah, we fucking know, dude. Like, write your set down. Tell me what's not about a dick.
He does talk about that a
That's
lot.
all, He can't shift off of it once he starts talking about
That
it.
makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
though.
It's like trying to stop jerking off once you know you're about to come. You just can't. You have to keep going. And that's him.
Huh. I didn't even think about that.
Back then, I remember being in what is it called? Government in high school, my government class, and they were like, "Oh, should gay people get married?" This was way back in the day when they were like not allowed yet, and I was on the stance of no, they cannot get married.
What was your logic?
The Adam and Steve shit, you know, like if they were able to procreate, then that's the way it should be. It's unnatural. I've then since changed my ideas on that.
What made you change your opinion?
It's fucked up. It's fucked up to tell someone like, hey, you really feel this way and that feels normal to you.
But it's wrong.
But it's wrong, and because I am not like you, you need to be more like me. Because I'm right, you're wrong, and what you're feeling is not okay.
Was it a gradual change or was it like a moment?
It was a gradual change.
Okay.
I started, you know what? Like I started to become like acquaintances with gay people. I started to talk to them, and I would be like, you're not a bad person in any way. You just have a sexual preference.
Yeah.
And there's things like about my sexuality that I prefer.
And a lot of times it doesn't even come up. Like no one talks about it. It's not gay dudes don't go around and be like, I like fucking people in the butt. It's like
and people, and also they're not like they're not trying to change me. Like, they're not trying to say, hey, because I'm gay, you need to be gay too. Could you imagine if that was our world?
So funny.
Could you imagine if you flopped and you reversed everything, and most people were gay and you were straight, and they kept telling
it's
you
the opposite. They don't even want us on their team.
Yeah.
They're like, "Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Stop it."
But it's like that. That's what put it in this perspective. Where I was just like, what if it was flip flop reversed, and I liked women, you know, and then like they were like, no, you can't like women.
You know what's the dumbest shit is when a dude is afraid of gay people because he's worried that the gay guy's gonna hit on him, as if he's a fucking prize.
Oh
my god!
Look at me,
dude.
Look at me.
That's why they don't want you.
I know.
So like,
I didn't know that I came off as homophobic. I really am not.
I believe you.
Yeah. And now I feel like I have to justify, which makes me look more homophobic.
I think most dudes come off like they have a base level of homophobia because that's just society.
And it's a Mexican thing too.
Yeah.
Machismo.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not like it's not common that you know, gay people are not as accepted. You know, they're made fun of in Mexico a lot. You know, you call them mariposa or whatever, maricon and all that shit.
My thing is, why do they give a shit? Like, whether they agree or disagree, why do you give a shit?
It's just masculinity, dude. It's not even. They haven't been. I don't know. It's all about being tough and shit like that. And they picture it as not being a tough thing to like another man.
If you're not tough, then leave him alone. Like, it's like if you're tough, if you're a tough guy, whatever, cool, be a tough guy. And that guy's not a tough guy, so leave him the fuck alone.
You can be gay and tough as fuck.
Yeah, you can.
It's just,
but
like they don't get it. They don't understand.
I feel like that level of
culture.
judgment and insecurity, though, is usually just a projection.
I think it's beans.
It's all that beans that they eat. It's got that homophobia gene in it.
Beans is amazing.
I love beans.
The rapper, she got fucking lit up by what's his name.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not a big deal to me, and it doesn't affect me. And then someone had told me, like, what if your daughter grew up to be like lesbian or gay or whatever?
Cool. Then, you don't have to worry about dudes fucking your daughter. Then great.
Exactly. I was like, I'm hoping for it. No, no, but I was like,
she's got a better chance defending against a rapist if it's a girl. So.
I talked about this with my wife too. I was like, she's still our daughter. Like, what are we gonna tell her? That
shit.
Yeah, like she still requires support regardless. So.
You, Jonathan, and Stephen Roth remind me of me, Will, and George. That's what it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, which one am I?
I don't. No, not in a 1-to-1.
Yeah,
he's not me. You're me.
Yeah. Do you miss living with each other? Do you miss living with him?
What an insult!
Do I miss living with Jonathan?
Oh, he's
we'll close with this thought because we got to close this out and get number 2 on. So.
Yeah.
Do you miss having Project Mayhem with Jonathan Tynes?
I miss the camaraderie of comedy, of like going home and there's this person there that is also doing it. We can go back and forth and talk about it. I miss that, and I miss just hanging out and talking to Jonathan. But the act of living together and the way we were living together, no. If we had separate rooms, or at very least I had a room and he was in the living room, yeah, I would be like, yeah, we can keep going for like another year. I'd be fine. But it was just the way the situation was set up that was daunting.
So you guys could be housemates, but not roommates.
Yeah, I could very easily live with Jonathan without a problem.
Sweet.
Nice. Do you miss living with Jonathan Tynes, Carlos Patino?
I desire that. I don't desire anything more in my life than to live with Jonathan again.
Aaron, you didn't feel like overwhelmed by just like comedy?
What do you mean?
By living with another comic, like all you guys thought about was funny. Is this funny? Is that funny? What do you think about this, dude? What do you think about this?
It wasn't about fun. It was about technique. It got to the point where it wasn't even like, ha ha ha, jokes. It was like, oh, did you see how this
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you get tired of eating white chocolate, dark chocolate, cherry chocolate. It's still chocolate. Like,
no, because we also did other things. We had other adventures together.
You guys are so gay.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll speak on it more when it's his turn. But no, I don't. Because we did others. So we didn't only talk about comedy. It was just like the foundation of everything. I think had we not both been comics, it would not have worked.
I think Jonathan Tynes should write a book about how he met some dude while he was trying to do comedy and then ended up living with him for a long period of time.
Structured like a diary.
Yeah. You should write it like you're hiding under a staircase or something. Day 393. He's asking me again. Jonathan, what do you think about this? I'm going to kill my fucking self.
Yeah.
Good times. All right. Do you have shows, Carlos?
On Wednesday, the 13th.
13th?
November 13th, I'm at the Red Fox with Ezekiel Echeverria.
Nice.
Michael Thompson's on that show.
Nice.
William Henderson's on that show. Hector
Red
Lara's on
Fox
that
came
show.
out of nowhere. People have been doing that a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
I've never
super
been
dope.
there. I'm excited.
San Bernardino.
Yeah. Anthony Davis is headlining.
Cool.
So it's going to be a pretty badass show.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's your next show?
That's my next show. My podcast, which I'm rebranding right now. Construction Ahead will still probably continue with just me, because that'll be like my captain's log, just like Aaron has one. I'm not stealing
It's
his.
ACMM now again.
I'm not stealing his shit, but I'm doing similar things. The next one that I post is going to be really interesting because I had to pee in a bottle during the podcast. I was stuck in
Is my
traffic.
dick in a bottle?
Yeah. And then the one that's I think it's going to be the flagship podcast is the I don't know, I'm thinking of naming it How Was Your Set?
Cool.
And that's with Frankie Oy whenever the fuck he joins on. If
That's
not.
cool. That's the one
Yeah.
you're doing at Mike's and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the one that I'll do at Mike's. I've been doing that one at the Hideaway. Still got to post the one that we just recorded. So yeah, other than that, that's
Where can they find you? Instagram?
on Instagram. You can find me at Los Patino Comedy. I'm fat. I'm married. I have a daughter. I'm not homophobic.
Anymore.
Shout outs to the gays, which is how I start one of my jokes.
The fact that you say the gays.
I don't know. It just seems funny when you say that. When you say the blacks, the gays, the beaners. I'm the Mexicans.
Faggots. Yeah, I get you.
It's funny
It
to
ends in an
yeah,
S.
It's funny to be ignorant. Is that what you said? It's funny to have a little bit of ignorance.
Darren Chase, you got any shows coming up?
Nothing booked, so I'll when I do,
Cool. All right, guys, follow us on the Buddy System Co. on Instagram. We got shows all week, open mics to work your stuff. We have ACMM on this network, the Game Boys podcast, Night Guy and Baldy.
We have a new one coming
new
up
one.
with Bryce. Did Bryce tell you?
Bryce did not tell me, but we have another one in the works. Cool. Yeah, so again, you're already listening to this, so you're subscribed. Tell your friends, rate and subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave a comment, let us know what you think, give us an email. You'll find me at the George F on Instagram and everything else. Aaron Chase at Aaron Chase 91. He is at Los Patinos Comedy. This has been another edition of the Buddycast. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Peace.